Velkommen tilbage til Eliten Indefra. I dag har jeg en speciel gæst med. Jeg har James Galligan, direkte fra Irland eller Marbella. Han er founder af A-Players Club, som er en netværksgruppe for succesfulde entreprenører i Europa, og han har tidligere siddet som closer for blandt andet Iman Gadzhi. Det betyder også, at podcasten i dag den kommer til at være på engelsk, så jeg beklager i forvejen for mit engelske, men jeg vil gøre mit bedste. James, welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much. I understood all of that.
Perfect. I could see it on you. You smiled all the way.
Yeah, I get it.
Can you give us a brief introduction to who you are and where you're from and your way into sales?
Good question. Who I am and where I'm from, my name is James Galligan. I'm 21. I'm from Ireland. I guess if I was to start where I'm from, it's like, have you ever heard of an entrepreneur from Ireland? As in like a successful one?
No.
There's zero. So like that's kind of, I guess my hero story is like, there's never been a path for me to follow. Any Irish entrepreneur. We have guys like Rob Lipsett, who's a fitness guy in the industry. You have McGregor, who's known for his MMA and his physical skill set, but there's never been Irish entrepreneur in the online world. Obviously there's been physical ones, but that's my mission, that's my journey. And I guess I started off doing that, and from a very, very young age, you have the typical story of selling lollipops and sweets in school so I could go to the disco at the weekend or get my hair cut, etc., without bothering my parents for finances. And then that kind of grew into when I was 15, 16, organising all the events, all the discos, all the festivals, all the buses, etc. I was go to for the house parties and organising the DJs. And then that kind of transitioned into me never wanting to go to college. My parents were always supportive of whatever you put your mind to, James, you can do. And That's the most valuable thing ever. I think, like we were never in a great place financially. If you look at Ireland in general, it's one of the most expensive places in Europe with one of the lowest income rates. My county is probably listed 31st out of 32 of the worst counties to live in Ireland. Our housing crisis is like, there's just nothing positive really about where we're from, and I take that as a positive. Let's create one. And I guess my journey started then when I was 18 and I was working labour 9 to 5. I was like, okay, this is a stopgap. I accepted where I was right then and there. What can I control? I can control my knowledge and my intake, etc. Then I started learning sales, the insides and outsides of that, while working and throwing up pallets every single day, 12 hours. Nail gun, come down, fix the pallets, throw a 40 kg up pallet that's soaking wet, covered in snow, freezing, 9 to 12 hour days. But I could listen to stuff in my AirPods. That was the benefit of that job.
What were you listening to back then?
Do you know what? It was actually like, I had no direction, so I didn't know what to listen to. So I was listening to like Jordan Belfort Sales School on, I was listening to a lot of Joe Rogan. And what I kind of found out about sales was sales is a lot of storytelling. Yeah. You have to be able to relate to people. And I just wanted to listen to Joe Rogan's podcast so I could understand, because sales is this, right? Sales is, there's a guy on this end, okay, with his conversation, and you're on your end. And it's like, you subtly try to find things to make the conversation relatable. And I call it kind of like the sauna theory. Like, you should be able to walk into a sauna, see a 60-year-old man sitting there, and be able to come to a relatable conclusion with him and go like, that moment when you're talking to someone, you're like, where you're from, what you're doing, and you're like, oh yeah, we have this in common. And you're trying to find what's in common.
It's fun you mention it, because I go in sauna almost every morning.
Okay.
And sometimes I'm there as the first person. There comes another one in and I'm like, I don't want to talk with him. But then again, I get caught, I'm a salesman. This is nice. Why not talk with him? Yeah. We are free here, we are relaxed. And then I play games with myself. Yeah. Can I start a conversation? Yeah. Can I build a relationship? Yes. And sometimes there are very interesting people in the sauna.
You never know who you're talking to.
You never know.
My girlfriend said the one thing that she takes from me is like, no matter where I am, if I'm making eye contact with someone longer than 1 second, it's like, how are you? Like, what are you doing? And it's like, you never know who you're talking to, especially like in the sauna of a nice, maybe a gym that you go to. You never know who you're talking to. So I just think, irregardless of who you are talking to, it's just good for you to be able to build that skill set of being able to tell stories, being able to find something that you've done in your life that can relate to them. And that's when like my sales started off. I was always talking, like I'd have family members saying he could sell sand to the Arabs and ice to the Eskimos and all this sort of stuff. So gift to the gab, we call it, back at home. And then I kind of use that to my advantage. I knew in life, I always feel like you have to use the leverage points that you're born with. And mine was just talking. So, okay, how can I monetize my talking? And then I started seeing Iman on socials and I was like, who is this guy? Like, he's living this lifestyle. I was like, I need to live that. And not necessarily out of a place of like, I need to live that for material success. I just seen like he was looking after his mother, his friends, his circle around him wasn't so much what he had, but who he had around him. And I was like, I need that. And started watching him, became very, very aware. But the work was being done on the side. I was learning. And then I seen his story in, I think it was December of 2022. I'm looking for an SDR. And I was like, what's an SDR? A sales development representative, etc. Sales rep. And I was like, okay, let's apply to this. Okay, there's 15,000 applicants.
Wow.
Okay, there's 3 people on the sales team currently. 15,000 applicants overall over the last few application rounds. 1 position, no sales experience. I was like, okay, but I'm going to get it. I've never not backed myself in a room. It's like, okay, these guys have no advantage in life over me. Like, you know, we're in the same playing field here. Hopped on an interview. My first few, you had to do like a video test or video interview first. And you were like, okay, wear a black shirt, draw a hand-drawn whale on your hand, and explain to us why you should work with us, etc., about your company. So 60-second video, anything longer than that, you were automatically disqualified. So like they make these rules, so it's like you need to listen to their full video, you need to do what they say, and it's like if you can't even comply with that stuff, like how are you going to be part of their team? So that probably eliminated a lot of people. But anyway, I showed up, put a bow tie on, black shirt, and they were like, why is this guy wearing a bow tie? That's what they said to me in the first interview, like, why were you wearing a bow tie? I was like, yeah, it stood out, didn't it? And yeah, I guess I did very well there. I had 2 or 3 interviews. I can talk through them, but 2 or 3 interviews, they really liked my vibe, who I was, what I stood for. I guess they could kind of get my like morals and values from that. And really great companies do not hire based off numbers. They hire based off who, then what, if you've ever heard of that concept.
Actually, no.
Yeah, who, then what. All big companies, I know HubSpot, the owner of HubSpot, I've talked about that as well. You hire the people that you believe will get you towards your end goal, then you find a place for them. And that's what they hired for. That's what Paul Daly, the CEO, looked for. He was like, I need someone who aligns with what we represent as a company, and then, you know, we'll go from there.
Wow. And what was the journey there when you got in?
Yeah, the journey was tough, man. Like I booked a flight to the US to live in San Francisco because we worked mainly US hours, I guess. There was a balance of both, but I had 300 euros in my bank account at the time. Flew out to the US because my family lived over there. I was going to live on their ranch for a bit because I'm a big like country guy. I love trucks, I love country music, cowboy hats and the whole shebang. Moved out there and they had said like your first month you're going to get a draw. They said this to all the sales reps. So it was like 3 SDRs, 2 closers. So 2 appointment setters, 3 appointment setters, 2 closers. You're going to get a draw this month, okay? So you mightn't make great money, but we're going to give you 2,500, and when you make over 2,500, you pay us back in the excess,
okay.
If that makes sense.
Like a guarantee of salary.
Yeah, so like a guaranteed salary, but like we owe the company money when we go over that, if that makes sense, because they believed in us.
Yeah.
But I was waiting. I was like, okay, I'm gonna have $25, 2,500. This will like I can get a computer with this. You know, my first 4 months with Iman, I didn't have a computer. I had a phone. I couldn't afford a computer. Just on an iPhone, working my CRM, doing my cold calls, everything was off. My closing call, everything was off a phone. And I don't know how I survived that long with that. That would never pass now, but I was fortunate in that sense. And yeah, bro, the month passed by and I was like, 2,500 is going to come in. It's going to come in. Opened my bank account on the 1st of February and 78 bucks had been sent from the company at the time into my account. And I was like, $78. I was like, there must be some miscommunication. Went to the team, was like, what's going on here? They were like, oh bro, the draw, like you have to be here for a whole full month first before you get the draw. And I was like, okay. So 378 euros, 1 month in America. It was like, I was like rationing, bro. I was like.
And you risked everything.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess you can say risk. Yeah. We can view risk in different ways. Like I just was like, my bigger risk is staying at home and doing the same thing I was doing, you know? But that's a risk we're taking and it worked out, I think.
But you got the money?
Not the 2,500, the 78 bucks, I got that. But the money came eventually, I guess. Over hard work and time. Spent 4 months as an SDO, an appointment setter, setting deals. Was in the trenches, 16-hour days. I came in, and this is a very, very interesting story, how I nearly got fired in like the first week. I came in, there was 3 or 4 SDOs at the time, and the average sets per day was like 3 to 5 sets per day. I came in and we used to have a sets channel where you'd send in like, I got this set. It's like, here's a background on the set. I used to send in my sets and I'd be getting like 8, 9, 10 like a day. It's like straight away. And I'd be like, boom, set, boom, like really cocky and arrogant set, like set.
And set, is it a meeting?
Set is like a meeting. So like a lead comes in, I'm calling them up, qualifying them, and then putting them on the calendar for my closer to close the deal. So I was like set, boom, 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 boom. And I was like, one day was like 10, next day was like 15, like, and they'd never seen more than 3 or 5 in a day. And they didn't care about that. They cared about the culture. And so I was in the shower and I get a call from the sales manager at the time, Max. And he was like, bro, Paul wants to speak to you on Zoom. And he was like, here's the link, hop on now. I was like in the shower. It's just like after the work day, I was like, okay, weird. Open the computer, hop on with Paul. And this computer, by the way, was like my home PC. This was like the week before I moved out to the US. So like my home PC. And I was like, okay, like what's he want? And it's like, Paul, it's the sales manager and it's one of the closers. And he's like, bro, if it was my decision, you'd be sacked right now. He was like, I hate the way you are. I was like, I actually just do not want you here. He was like, you're a cocky piece of shit nearly. And he was like, you with your ego right now, if you didn't have JJ and Max saying they believe in you, you'd be gone. And I was like, he was like, you have one more warning. If you ever cross that line again, and if you ever think you're better than someone else, I don't know who you think you are in this company, but if you ever cross the line again, you're gone. And bro, my mouth was like this, because Paul was someone I looked up to, and I was like in tears after it, bro. I was like, yeah, who did I think I was? Like all this time when I was waiting to get this job, bro, I was like so humble and down to earth, and I had John 13 verse 7 on my home screen saying, Jesus said, you may not know now, but later you will, and I just trusted in that. And I got humbled the first week. I was doing very well numbers wise, but they don't care. He was like, I don't know who you think you are. And that changed my life, to be honest. That like one talk. I've never been overly arrogant since. I'm definitely confident in myself, but that whole like boom, like I'm the man attitude, it's like...
So even if it hurt, you actually needed it?
Bro, 100%. Tough love is needed. And like, this world's gone soft, man, around, especially around men. Everyone's kind of like feeling each other's asses, telling themselves they're all great and stuff. And you need someone, a true friend, bro. And there's a lot of movements out there right now where they say like love is love, and they say like however you feel, that's love in love. And like it's not, like love is the truth. And it's like he loved me enough, whether he believed it or not. We actually became extremely good friends after I traveled to his house, stayed in his house for 6-7 months at a time. He brought me on his West Coast tour after we both left the man's team. Became a best friend of my life, still is. And that's true love. He told me the truth that I needed to hear. And most friends will like hover around the truth of what you need to hear. And that's not truth, that's not love, that's not friendship. So I respect him for it, and I never took it to heart. I just knew it needed to be done.
But I think it's quite normal that if you get success in a young age or very fast, you get cocky, you get a very big ego. But to get the character and be humble and have the real confidence, it takes time.
I think that's a huge issue right now. Like if you look on Instagram, Twitter, like all these young guys making money fast, and they think they're successful because they have money. And it's like, that's what the foundations of my principles are now, is like, I think you should not have success fast. Success in regard to finances, you shouldn't have fast. You should work on everything at once. And like real entrepreneurs, bro, like course selling is great. It's fantastic and you'll make good money off it. But how long does that last? Like how much of your reputation do you sacrifice if you're selling something that's actually not up to par, not worth it? These guys are, you know, living the lifestyle and portraying that, but like there's no actual entrepreneurship in them. They can sell a course. I don't really see that as entrepreneurship, you know?
It's more about making a difference.
Where's the impact? That's what entrepreneurship is. It's impact. And I think the term entrepreneurship is thrown around right now and it has a bad stigma. So I don't blame that. But a lot of the guys, you see it even like the Jack Dohertys, where they buy their car, etc., and they're like flexing on everybody, and he crashed his car. He like totaled his car just after he bought it. Did you see it on Twitter?
Actually, no.
Totaled his car just after he bought it. And bro, his cameraman was in the other seat, right? His car totaled. He's like, bro, the car, his nose is smashed. He's like, his friend's bleeding. And he's like, bro, get this video of the car. He's like, he's not even acknowledging that his friend's sore. It's like, money's getting to people's heads nowadays. And every single person that I have around me, I completely say like, bro, like the money is not the win here. The win is like Can you be a resilient enough man that, if challenges come around, you can come over them? It's not just monetary. Do you have good relationships with your family? Do you have good relationships with a girlfriend? Like, what's your future looking like? Not just 100%. Monetary. So, yeah, that's what.
And beautiful words and wisdom from a young man, only 21 years old.
Yeah,
I think that's very, very mature.
Thanks.
And also a blessing to have acknowledged all of those things in such an early age.
Yeah, that's it. It's like, people may see me as like 21 or young, etc. But at the same time, it's more about experiences. Like older people that wouldn't really understand would look down maybe and say like, why would he have the right to say this? But it's like I've experienced maybe more in the 2 or 3 years I've been in the space than they have in their normal life, if that makes sense. You're the same. Like, you've been through so much, I can imagine, and like you probably have the experience of like a 120-year-old man in a 31-year-old body. So yeah, testimony to you as well in that regards.
And what were some of the challenges back then?
As a sales guy?
Yeah. Without experience, all alone.
I had really great teachers. So I wouldn't say knowledge would ever like my down point. What was my down point? What was my weakness in that moment? My weakness at the very beginning was obviously that thing where my ego was like taking over. After that, bro, I'd like to say my biggest skill set is my self-awareness of, where I'm going wrong, when I'm going wrong. Like my girlfriend would say to me as well, like, you're aware of, if something has to be told to you once, it can be done, it can be fixed, you won't see it again. So saying like a complete weakness would maybe be like, okay, sometimes as a leader, I sometimes take responsibility off people without like actually asking at the very beginning, or I just take the spotlight over from somebody else without giving them the acknowledgement they needed. And I was very controlling, but just because I wanted the best for everybody, this doesn't come across that way all the time. So I needed to be very, very aware of that and how to kind of structure leadership and culture and stuff.
I get it. And what about the business? How was it built with Iman and the info product?
Bro, they had a good operation. It was, and it wasn't even about the money. It was like the culture they had. Summer of last year, was it? Summer of last year. Bro, the thing about culture is when you build an unbeatable culture, you can go through bad months as a company and no one will shake, no one will move, no one will budge. If you hire based off talent and monetary, like, oh, he's made this money for this company in the past, let's bring him in. You have a bad month, he's gone. And it's like, we had months where we struggled, for sure. We did less than we predicted or whatever. But bro, we had like accountability chats to where all the reps would be doing 75 hard or, picking up their diet. We were excelling in other areas. We were learning. So we had this philosophy, if you're not earning, you're learning. And if you're not earning, you're learning. And if you're doing neither, you probably shouldn't be where you are anymore. And that's kind of, the reason that we left at the end. But at that moment, like, we'd have bad months, but no one would shake. It's like the culture they built, where everyone was fighting for each other and fighting to learn.
And how did they build it?
They had really good sales coaches. The closers were the sales coaches, and Paul Daly is probably one of the best sales managers I've ever seen in my life. Like, he'd come on a meeting for half an hour, 45 minutes, go through call reviews, etc. And he'd be sitting there like, you'd be scribbling out every word, and you'd leave the meeting like, oh my God, I just learned like 5 years worth of knowledge in like a half an hour. And it's like, you can have bad months, but you'd want to be on them calls, and you're like, there's no complaints because you're learning. And then another way to build culture, I do it in my community right now, is like, you need to have people striving in other areas. So like accountability chats, we'd have core values like better every day, where people would post in their gym pictures or the food they're eating, or they bring their girlfriend, treat their family to dinner. And it's like, people were celebrating all aspects of life. And that's what culture is. You get to know the individual rather than like just, I guess, the monetary stuff.
So you have a separate chat just for the energy and the...
Separate chat for, we had a, excuse my French, but like a fuck around channel where you'd send in like funny stuff from the weekend or funny reels that you come across or TikToks, and then you'd have the better every day. So you'd have the balance of like getting to know the individual for who they get their quirkiness, and then you'd also have the individual for their discipline. And like, there'd be people who come into the company who'd be out of shape and they'd be in shape in 30, 40 days. And that's special.
Yeah.
That changes lives. People remember that. It represents 100%. It. Yeah.
And they stay for that.
They stay for that, bro. They're hungry for that. They're hungry for the best version of themselves. And that's not always money for everybody.
But how was the business? There was like the appointment setters, there was the closers, and how did it all, was it built and what kind of softwares did they use?
There was a big operation for sure. There was, I guess, bottom of the bar would be you come in as an SDR. You'd be setting appointments. You'd be in the trenches for 8 to 12 hours, 16-hour days, wherever you wanted, because, you know, your input was your output. Then you'd become a closer, because naturally, as you become a good SDR, what the process of that is, you're bringing them from I'm interested to like, okay, I'm really considering buying, to put them onto the closer to get them from essentially like a 7 to a 10. So a closer's job was like the last 5% of the marketing, then there's SDR, then there's the closer. And then the marketing and sales, I think where they could have been better was marketing and sales could have had more, what's the word? Synergy. Yeah. You speak the end. Yeah, that's okay. Synergy. They could have more synergy. And that's where maybe they could have been better. But there was a whole marketing team. There was like 50, I think there was 50 plus on the content team.
Wow.
Not just like, you know, European based, but there was also third world countries. They'd be printing as well. But there'd also be, you know, people from Netherlands and from Denmark and from Spain who were cooking on the content team. So big operations in the back end, big operations in front end in regards to CEO, COO, sales manager, proper business. Yeah. And that's valuable.
And what were you selling?
We were selling his info offered on how to start and scale an agency. And then I was doing like sales training inside of that thing as well. So I'd sell people, I don't like the word sell. I'd help people make the decision that they want to start an agency. And then as they start their agency, I'd also coach inside once a week on the sales processes of that agency. And that was like our main thing. And then we'd also have like the Gents Croquet Club. Ever heard of that? Gents Croquet Club is like a members club at the time. We'd sell some of that, and then we'd also sell Iman's masterminds and stuff as well. So.
And what was his mastermind?
My voice breaks about. Huh?
What was his mastermind?
His mastermind was like a few days in Dubai and like workshops with his team and stuff, with the sales managers and stuff. Yeah.
Like the Unuha brothers are doing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Seen that.
Okay.
That's cool.
I think like we had a couple in Denmark that also got the inspiration from Iman and then started doing their own marketing agencies. Kasper Knudsen.
Okay, yeah, I heard of him, yeah.
Yeah, like I hadn't seen Iman at that time.
Yeah.
I saw Kasper first, but when I saw Iman, I was like, okay, they're...
Inspiration.
Yeah, but I think it's very nice. And I also think that the future is going to be a lot bigger with the info products and those kind of teaching.
I think that will grow, but I think the way of selling it will change.
How do you think it's going to be in the future?
I just think people could be sold and manipulated into courses in the past, because there was like a lack of knowledge. And so right now what we're kind of seeing is a transition of free school groups, free YouTube videos. And it's like people can learn off who they want to trust now more so than like C1 VSL, hop on a call because there's nothing else out there to be sold. And it's like there's so many bad course sellers out there. So many
100%.
bad. Oh, bro, it's tragic. And we actually made a podcast video a few days ago. For 2 hours, we sat down, whiteboard. We call it like the Irish Blueprint to Success. And we were like, do not do this, this, and this. Don't do X, Y, Z courses. Look for this before you buy a course. Because I know myself, I've been scammed with courses. I know friends have been scammed with like trading offers, crypto offers,
Trading
even bad
is the worst.
trading. How did they fall? How did they fall for it, bro? The Forex offers. And yeah, I just think course selling will become more trust based. There'll be more. They'll have to buy based off more long format stuff. I think it's going to transition from reels may get attention, but reels, I think people think reels convert. Reels don't convert. Like I've seen guys with 200 views on a YouTube video who earn 100K a month because their YouTube videos are so in depth and they bring people through a certain process, etc.
Yeah.
So I think it will transition back more towards the YouTube stuff.
So more the reels for the attention, the YouTube for the long format for the relationship and building the trust.
Yeah. People may start noticing you on Reels and then they'll see it on YouTube and then that'll be a reason that they click on your YouTube video. But Reels, if people put the effort into long format that they did into Reels, they'd probably be way more successful. That's what I'm kind of seeing.
I think you are completely right about that.
Maybe. We'll see.
I also think after we started with the podcast, we filmed it, put it on YouTube. It's like the engagement it's much more greater.
Think about it like this, like there's the theory, I don't know if it's true or not, that people need to see you for 7 hours before they buy your stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, how many reels is that? It's a lot of reels.
That's
but it's not a lot of podcasts, like 2 or 3 podcasts or 4, because they get to know you in and out for what you stand for, what you represent, what you have to offer, why you offer it, the in-depths of that. And it's like, if you can get longer trainers like that and for people to stay to the end of that, they're buying. But it's like reels. I know.
Quick fix.
And like I was talking to my editor today. I don't want to do any lifestyle reels on my page. I just don't want to sell the image of lifestyle. I think I'd rather just grow slowly over time and be known for giving good, valuable education rather than like sell a lifestyle to these people. I think it's just overdone.
Better to be authentic.
You last longer. It's like you can burn your reputation very, very fast, or like people get in these lifestyle loops as well to where their brand is now based on lifestyle. So they have to spend money to make money. That's not a healthy loop either for you, because like you might make 60, 70K in a month profit, but like you have to go to these nice hotels, get these flights, get these shoes, go on these shopping sprees to make it look like you're rich.
To live up to the image you have created yourself.
Oh, there's people who get in that image loop and it's like they're burning themselves out mentally and emotionally and financially. It's like not a good loop to get into.
No. And what was the price of the course you were selling back then?
Yeah, 1,500. It wasn't that expensive.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how was your closing rate?
It was very good towards the end. I actually asked for that when I left. It was 63%.
62%.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was up there.
And what was the most common objections you were facing back then?
Bro, like it was very similar. Like people would say it's an easy offer, it's a hand up because it was Iman's course, but you don't realize like Iman's audience was a lot of younger guys, like 18 years of age, and $1,500 to them is the same as like it's all they have. So it's petrifying. And it's like it's bringing someone from the emotional state where this is all the money I have and this is a huge risk and this could like ruin my life if I spend all this money. Bring them from that emotional state to like believing in themselves enough that I don't think for $1,500 you can invest into something and lose really for that price point, because that price point is more of like a mental game of like now I believe in myself enough that I can do it. And with Iman stuff, like it was definitely worth the money. Like people would say it isn't, but 100% it is with the coaching, the access to information, and then the self-belief within yourself to actually give someone your card to pay that money at that age is like, that's a lot for young guys. And that's all they need sometimes, is that push to just know they're enough.
Did you do some kind of systems when you were selling, or did you just from the hip freestyle?
I loved frameworks, bro. I never really scripted. No. I would be very free-flowing sales guy. I think a lot of sales courses try to sell off scripts, but I think, you know, I can't sell like you. You can't sell like me. A Bass can't sell like me. We have to sell from like our own standpoint and our own skill sets. And I think people get lost in these scripts or these tonality frames that these other sales gurus give to them. It's like, bro, that doesn't sound like you. Like, just talk to me like you're talking to a friend. Try to understand me. Genuinely ask questions. Like, you're in the sauna. If you're in the sauna, you're not going to ask base level questions, and you want to like you're going to go in depth. Like, you're going to ask them deeper questions because you want to get to know like the relatable thing that you have between each other. And yeah, I think sales training is not the best. But yeah, I would have worked from the hip naturally.
Do you still remember how you did it back then? If I was like one of the customers coming in and you had to pitch or sell me the course.
Pitch the course, but I think that's the confusion with sales. Like there's been times where I've been on a sales call and I didn't even get to the pitch, and they were like, bro, I'm ready. You know what I mean? And it's like, I used to have this one pre-frame I can give away, where this is really definitely B2C, but I used to be like, bro, like most of the guys on these calls are about, so let's say, for example, the client's like 20 years of age.
Yeah.
We get to the end of like the discovery. So discovery would be like their current state, their future state, what's stopping them from getting to their dreams, what are they doing right now, the bad habits that they have, like what's holding them back. Then I would use this pre-frame before I get into the close. And the pre-frame would be, I take the age that's 5 years older than them on average. So let's say they're 20 years of age. And I'll say, hey man, so like most of the guys I talk to on these calls are like mid-20s, like 24, 25 years of age. If you were to guess, what would you say their biggest regret is when they're talking to me?
Not starting earlier.
Every time, bro.
So the leading questions.
Every time. They'd be like, probably not starting earlier. And I'd be like, yeah, like they'd make excuses, whether it was financial excuses, like I can't afford it, and at the end of the day it's $1,500. Like, you know, you probably spend that in 4 weeks over college if you were to go out the weekend, or dinners, etc. So it was just prioritizing or lack of time. It's like, bro, when's the right time? Like, you're never going to have a perfect moment where you're sitting in your bed, there's nothing to do, and you're ready to go. Like, that's not what business is. Business is, you know, different obstacles come at different times when you can't handle it, but you have to handle it. That's what business is. And I'm going to ask you this question, bro. Like, do you feel like you're ready to put these excuses aside and make this work while the opportunity is there now? And they'd be like, they'd nearly be in tears, bro. And in a good way, because like, this is what sales is. And they'd be like, yeah, bro, like I've made all them excuses. I'm ready to go. Like, I'm ready to go. And I'd be like, it's amazing. But like, obviously I can walk you through things, but you've watched the video beforehand. You want to just get started? And they'd be like, yeah. So like, I wouldn't even have to go through the pitch half the time if you do a good enough discovery.
That's the best sales.
Yeah.
Where people want to buy, not to be sold to, but they want to buy.
Yeah. And I think that, bro, I used to have general sales calls where I'd be in tears. I'd be in tears because like, they wouldn't close and I'd hang up the phone and I'd be like, I just failed him because I couldn't get him to see
the value
within himself. Because that's what B2C selling is. It's not the value in the course. It's the value within themselves. Do they believe it enough? These younger guys. And I used to get off and I'd be like, fuck man, I let that guy down. Like that's like, I'm actually getting emotional thinking about it right now. But like there's some guys I remember where it's like, and there'd be also other sales calls where I'd be struggling to get them to join. And I'd be like, bro, I'll be very, very honest. Like there's sometimes where you remind me of this guy, this XYZ guy, and he got off the call and I felt like I failed him. It's like, I actually believe in us so much in what we do, and I believe in you and what we do, and I need you to take a gap. I need to take a leap and trust in us. And yeah, I just believe so much in the product, and I believed in what we did, and I believed that their money was best spent with us because I believed in us enough.
And I think that's one of the most important things when it comes to sales. You have to love the product and believe in it. The worst thing is sales guys trying to push a product that they don't believe in.
And I think, subconsciously thinking of it now, that probably comes down to the culture that they built, you know, because you believed in your day-to-day so much. You woke up in the morning, it wasn't just money, it was like, I believe in this company enough. And they'd make us go through all the courses beforehand before we sold it because they wanted us to understand what we were selling, etc. And I feel like most sales managers hire nowadays and they're like, here's a sales script, go. No culture. They don't believe in where they are every single morning when they wake up. They're not developing themselves, so like they struggle to sell. And I know sales coaches or sales consults who go in and they just build culture and the sales close rate goes up by 20-30%.
Yeah.
That's game changing. That can double the company's revenue.
I agree. Did you have some questions you always asked in the beginning when you started the calls? How would you start the call?
I'd start the call with a broader question. I'd start the call with something along the lines of like, hey man, so like what brought you to hop on the call today? And then they'd give me like a blurb of like, for 2 minutes. You know, I watched this video, I did this thing, I'm looking to do this and this and this. And I'd pick the one most important thing and I'd start there. And I'd be like, also you started watching the videos, like how long ago was that? I started watching them 8 or 9 months ago. Okay, what did you like about that? What caught your eye? Okay, and then when it came to the agency stuff, like what was it about that business model that caught your attention over e-com or sales or whatever? It was like, why the agency model? Why not anything else? Then they'd sell themselves in the model. And then I go into like, obviously bro, it's been 8 or 9 months. That's like a long time. Like a lot of our students get to like 6, 7, 8K a month in that time. Like that's 30, 40 grand that could be in your bank account. It isn't in your bank account. Like what stops you from moving? And then you start getting, I guess, more emotional, and then you keep working down. I always look to get to the third why. People get the first why and think, oh, that's it, you know. But you need to go deeper and deeper and deeper, for them to understand like why they're really there and what their real true passion is about it. And yeah, every sales call is different, but same frameworks of what you need to get from them.
And who taught you those frameworks?
So if there's 3 sales guys I can give my credit to is Paul Daly, JJ Hernandez. He used to work with Alex Hormozi and Iman. And then Alex Beck used to also work with Alex Hormozi and Iman. And from their teaching, but also from just watching their sales calls, I understood like, bro, they care and they really emotionally like connect with, especially JJ, really good. And yeah, there's different ways to sell, and they were definitely the 3 guys that brought me on the most.
And what is your own biggest or best advices for young sales reps? If you could give your younger self some advice.
Yeah. My younger self some advice. Okay, so I was aware of this, but I want to give this advice because I feel like it's a misconception in the sales space. Is like, people are often like very quick to jump ship, and they're like, I spent 2 months as an SDR and I want to be a closer now. Or I spent 2 months as an SDR, I'm not making money, I'm not happy here. And it's like they view success as monetary in the very beginning. And my view of success from a young age was like never that I'm making the money that I feel like I should deserve to make. It was like I'm learning the skill sets day to day, and I'm gaining the knowledge that will allow me to earn X, Y, Z in the future. So I never complained about money once as an SDR. Even if we'd have months where I'd earn $1,500 or $2,000, even after 3 or 4 months, I'd be like, this is phenomenal because I'm learning something so valuable right now that, you know, if the case comes that I get to prove myself in the higher earning positions, it'll come. But I just need to perfect where I'm at right now. Too many guys are too focused on either the money or either moving too fast, and they forget to focus on becoming what they're best at. So today I got a text message from a friend saying, bro, I need like your insiders, I need your guys, like I need the A players, I need a guy who can close the OT on target earnings of this offer will be 15 to 20k a month. I need him to be like mature, great closer, like you put your name on him. And it's like there's only so many guys that come to your mind because so many guys jump around or don't perfect their skill set.
Yeah.
And my advice to younger guys would be, bro, forget or lady, forget the outcome and just focus on the process. And if you become the best possible SDR, what's that do? That allows your name to be in conversations for the next position, the higher level positions or different offers. People will talk about you. People are looking to jump ship too early. And that would be my biggest advice. Just stick to the process. Become the best at whatever position you're in, whether it's customer support, whether it's closer, whether it's SDR, be the best at it. And naturally, the progression will come, you know?
So just water your own grass.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a question because right now, one of the biggest objections that many people are facing is I have to talk with my spouse. How do you handle that objection?
I never really got that because I was talking to 18, 19-year-olds that weren't married.
What about I have to talk with my parents? I have to think it over.
The parents one was always a tricky one for sure. Like if I was to go with the wife one or the husband one, that angle, people have to realize with objections, it's not, you have to understand this, it's not you versus him. You know, it's not a boxing match of you versus him. So how it starts off is he's at this side of the table, you're at this side of the table. How can you finish the conversation sitting together? And it's like, okay, it's not going to help if you're combative, but like, bro, like, and you're conflicting him. That doesn't work. You have to split objections. So like objections will come in and he'd say like, I need to talk to my spouse. This hasn't happened before, but if I was to imagine it, I need to talk to my spouse and be like, yeah, I get it, bro. And would it be a case of like, your spouse doesn't believe that this would be the right thing or wouldn't respect you for doing this? Or would it be a case of like, you know, you don't necessarily have the money and this wouldn't be the best case right now? It's like you're working with him to find what the thing is. It's not like you versus him. You're working with him. And he'd be like, yeah, bro, we normally just talk things over, etc. And I'd be like, I get that and I respect that, bro. And then I'd probably go along the lines of asking the question of, bro, man to man, do you think she'd respect you as a wife more as a man if you went to her and said like, hey babe, like I made this decision based off X, Y, Z amount of knowledge and research that I put into it, and I believe within my gut and my heart it's the best thing for us to do going forward, and you know it costs us this amount, but I fully believe that it's the best thing for our family right now. Do you think she'd disrespect you? She thinks she wouldn't respect you for that? And he'd be like, no, like he wouldn't, she wouldn't, like. And I'd be like, bro, like and this is always going to be a difficult thing. Like it's never going to be easy to let go of finances and money. But like in the end of the day, bro, if you have made decisions like this in the past, I respect that. But the same way you made decisions in the past has led to the current situation that you're in right now. And it's like, if you don't want to be in the current situation you're in right now, something else has to change. So maybe decision making has to change. Maybe you have to take leadership for once, you know? Would you say that's fair? And I something along them lines.
Closed.
Yeah, maybe. It's never as easy as that. Like, you know, I always hear sales guys like talking and yapping and it's never that easy. But I go down the line.
I really like this approach.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
You really need to split things. And especially when people came to, hey bro, like I'm just not ready right now. I'd be like, man, 100% that's cool. I get where you're coming from. And is that a case of like either one, the finances are not there at all. It's not possible. Like no matter if you physically wanted to, you couldn't do it. Or the two that the finances are there, but it's just a bit scary right now, bro. And that's like step one of getting him to admit like the finances are there. Now it's just a bit scary. Now it's just about tying him down on what the actual issue is. Like, is it a self-limiting belief, which it tends to be, or is it a case of something wrong with the program and just identifying one of them two and then going from there?
What if they didn't have the finance?
Well, they're not qualified. You can't really do anything. If they didn't have the finances, that's just where your follow-up sequences and your nurturing comes in, to where you have to show them the value over time. You have to nurture them. So this is actually something that's actually positive about the online space right now, about the free value, is that people can actually start making money off the free value. And if they've made the money off your free value, they're going to give the money back to you when they need to grow. So it's just like a case of like, how much free value are you giving to them to where they can make their initial first 2, 3, 4, 5,000 to want to invest in you to grow higher. As you don't have the finances, there's not much you can do, you know.
I get it.
Yeah.
What about the deposit?
Deposit.
Some people use it.
Yeah, it's there, but it's like at the same time, if they have zero money and maybe like a paycheck's coming in at the end of the month and they have to work around with them, if that makes sense when the paycheck comes in. But deposit is definitely a great idea if they have the finances, and it's the last resort, I think. But you know, if the finances aren't there and they can't possibly do it, then it's just a case of like nurturing them, I guess. Nothing wrong with a deposit, but if you're willing to wait 2 months for them to come together with the last bit, I guess it's a good tie down. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long were you a closer yourself?
I did SDO work for about 5-6 months, and then closer work for about June or July to February, and then with Iman, and then I was the front end sales manager, I guess, doing all the front end sales stuff for a guy called John Danes, a partner of mine, on an agency consultation business after that. So he had his own agency that went to $250K a month. I was kind of doing the front end. We were doing coaching for client acquisition, helping people get more clients, etc. So I was helping them with that. You know, organising sales calls, taking the sales calls, organising the SDRs and setters and stuff. And that's what I was doing for them few months while I was starting A Players as a passion project. And then I guess A Players just started taking off, like not fast, but it started taking off for a few months. And I was like, you know, we came to a conclusion that I couldn't put the energy into his company that he was paying me out. So it just wasn't worth for us anymore. So just my one focus became A Players then, and it's my focus now. I think it's going to be my vehicle, I guess, maybe for financial freedom, maybe not. Whatever it is, I'm okay with. I just want to make an impact for Irish entrepreneurship. I just want a clear path for like younger James to not spend the 2.5K on a dropshipping course. Yeah.
And what do you do in A Players?
It's a great question. So our hub is Marbella. So right now there's actually like 20 members living in Marbella. And I'm not just targeting successful entrepreneurs. Like most of the guys in there already make like 5K probably minimum with their agency or with their sales job, etc. But it's guys who have an idea of what they want to do. And the purpose of A Players is, bro, it's hard to do anything alone. And an example I can give is we had a mastermind in Marbella for the guys, and we had some guest speakers. And on the last day we had a gym session. After the gym session there was an ice bath, and it was like it was 2 degrees Celsius. It was cold, bro. Put my hand in, I was like, feeling a little bit of a bitch today. And there was eight guys there, big ice bath, and we were like, okay, let's do 30 seconds. And we were like, bro, 30 seconds? No, let's go for 3 minutes. Okay, difficult, but let's do 3 minutes. We get in, we're like, this is cold. A minute passes by, we're like, you're freezing, don't know if I want to be in here for 3 minutes. No one moves. 2 minutes goes by, we're like, getting settled in, no one moves. 3 minutes goes by, and like this like silence just came over us. And we started looking at each other like, okay, bring it on. 8 of us stayed in there. 5 minutes goes by, 10 goes by, 15 goes by, 20 goes by, 25 goes by, and we're like, we should probably get out before we die. But it was a case of, we sat down for dinner that evening and we were like, imagine that's your life. Imagine that's your environment at home. Your environment at home is only allowing you to achieve 1/8 of what you think you can achieve. And let's be honest, if I was there by myself, would I have gone in the ice bath for even 3 minutes?
No.
Maybe not. So it's like the power of environment. And I think if your friends aren't inspiring you to be the best version of yourself every day, if they're not aligned with your vision, they're not your circle, they're your cage, they're holding you back. So especially in Ireland and England, man, especially even the small countries in Europe, the small town mentality of, you know, what's this guy doing? Like, pyramid scheme, whatever. Always talking you down. And I just think to have guys who are aligned with what you do is phenomenal. And we bring on guest speakers like Dan Martell, Jordan Welch was on last week, Colin Yerkson has been on, Robbie Vivala was on. These big entrepreneurs come on every single Tuesday, talk to our guys. I want them to be well-rounded A players. You know, A players, not just financially, but A players physically, emotionally, spiritually, and learning every angle of business helps with that. And they help each other, they partner in each other's businesses. One of them does web development, one of them does lead gen. The web development guy needed a lead gen agency as a request for one of their companies, came together, signed an 11K deal together. It's like, that's powerful, you know. Your environment is
So you bring those people together.
But fortunately, yeah. You know, and even if they're not physically together yet, because they maybe mightn't be able to be in a financial position to move to Marbella, they maybe could move to a cheaper country. Like I moved to Malta with paying $400 a month in rent. That was the first thing I did when I started making money. 2-3K a month, 3 months in, found 2 or 3 other sales guys, boom, we moved to Malta. Had our first 5K day in like 2 months after that as sales reps. And I just know how important it is to get around other guys because you grow so much faster. And the conversations you have with them guys, if you had them at home, they'd be different conversations. You'd be told that's stupid. Why are you thinking that? Or like you wouldn't even say something, or you can't inspire, you can't have the conversation and think of something else. So I just know how important the environment is, and even if subconsciously that they know that someone else is waking up and getting after it every day as an A player and physically doing what they need to do, it kind of kicks you on because it's in the back of your head. Like you can't just stay in your ass and do nothing.
So what's your ambition now for the next couple of years? My
ambition, bro, is I've been talking to some investors. So my time right now isn't necessarily like I'm in this fucking founder mode where my head's in the computer and I'm like, it's shaking as many hands as possible and traveling as much as I can, talking to people. So right now what I'm looking for is investors, real estate investors, or just bored rich guys, I guess, who believe in the mission to come in. And I want to build houses or apartment blocks in Marbella, in London, even in Copenhagen. We have so many members in Copenhagen. And I want to build like 15, 20 bedroom apartments, like 2 or 3 bedroom apartments by 20 or whatever. Podcast studios, saunas, co-work sessions, and be a gym. That's my vision, and I think it's possible, like the Soho House of entrepreneurship.
And why those countries? Because you have members from there?
Members are heavy. A lot of members in Copenhagen. It's ridiculous. It's actually crazy. So yeah, big hub here. And then Marbella, just because it's nature. I don't really like the idea of Dubai, so I just would rather it be European based. Marbella, good weather all year round. That's all you need. I think the sun is just healthy for people as well.
Why not Dubai?
I don't align with Dubai.
No?
Nah. It's just like, what do you make per month, bro? You know, what car do you drive? What watch do you have on?
Okay, it's very materialistic.
Yeah. My friends who spend time there and are like, bro, I just want to get back to Marbella. Like, I want some soul. I want some culture. I want to walk down Marbella Old Town and see the locals, you know, making their food and selling their food. Like, there's culture to it, but you know, Dubai, I just don't align with, bro. To be honest, like I'll go there for taxes and you know, I'll do my due diligence there, but I don't want to live there. You know, I respect the country and I respect people who live there, but it's not everyone's cup of tea. I think people get lost there.
Yeah, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
What about for the best thing you got from the Iman journey? That was the culture. Was there other things you got from him or the team from there?
The best thing was culture, because culture led into me being able to properly lead 90 to 100 guys on a day-to-day basis. Like, how do you keep them motivated each week and each month to want to be a part of this movement? And the culture of what I took from what Paul built at Iman's company, 100% applied that there. And anything else? The way Iman holds himself. You know, the first time we did dinner in London, he walked in and it was like an energy, an aura, people would say, around him. And it's because, like, you know, he just walks, he just has honor about him, you know. He means well. And I see it in him and I know it. From the conversation with him, I know, you know, people can have whatever they want to say about him, but he's a good guy. And you can see that through his whole journey on YouTube, which is beautiful. So I think it's his energy and his aura and his goodwill, you know. It's also the fact that he keeps to himself, you know. You don't look at Iman's Instagram and see, like, loads of different guys. Like, you don't see him collaborating all the time. So, like, he has his own brand and his own identity. And I guess it's something I've taken from him a little bit is, like, yes, I might be the networking guy where I might go and travel and stuff like that as well. But, like, you have to have your own values within that. You need to be your own individual person. And if you think of cigars, you think of Laura Piana, you think of any of these loafers, you just think of Iman. Yeah. And it's like, it's crazy the power that he has. He's the only person I feel like...
It's very good for Laura Piana brand.
Yeah. You should get you should get a referral code and affiliate code, bro.
Yeah.
Like
him and the Stadt guy.
Yeah, the Stadt guy. Which guy is that?
Have you not seen him?
No,
he's very funny. I'll show him later.
I think that he's the only person who's built a true personal brand to date. You know, maybe Tate as well. But like, you see a piece of clothing and you can identify that with a YouTuber. It's like, that's crazy.
Yeah,
with his impact.
Nice. Any last advice for the young people listening here about sales, about wisdom.
I just want more men to stand up for what they believe in. I think the world's gone to a weak place. I think that they're breaking down men day in, day out, you know, telling them I guess, even the way they built women into being very masculine, just takes the respect out of relationships nowadays. And I just want more men to stand up for what's right and what's honourable. I see OFM guys, I see they're making 200-300k a month, and I think they're cool. Wow. And I'm like, I just don't respect it. I think that's cool, you're making money. We've had guys apply to A players, willing to pay us the money to join A players, and we're like, no. Like, we have a strict, like, you can't do OFM. You can't have certain values. Your Instagram can't portray a certain way, or like, we just won't let you in. And I think it's the same with just the OFM guys, the trading guys who just use the free telegrams to, no matter if there are people win or lose, they make money. It's like, where's the value? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And I think they see the short-term bag to be made, and they see it and they grab it, but they don't realize that their reputation's gone. Like, they're 23, 24 years of age. That's not a long game mindset. And my advice would be to play the long game. Be as disciplined as possible. I would say stop drinking if you can. I'd say stay away from any sort of addictions at all possible. Each addiction leads to the next. So if someone's addicted to drugs watching this, just stop drinking, because oftentimes, when do you do drugs? You drink. Or you do drugs when you're out in the pub. It's like, okay, like, you can stop these things not by stopping doing drugs, but by just not going to the places where you do them, if that makes sense. The same with the whole, like, OnlyFans stuff. Like, don't get sucked into any of the, don't get distracted by, I guess, the females that look sexy. You know, find yourself a good woman. I think they're hard to find nowadays, but I think they're only hard to find if you're searching the wrong places and you're not equal and opposite within. I remember the story I'll tell is, like, before I found my girlfriend, it was like last October, and my friend sat me down. I was drinking at the time. I'd be messing around or whatever, and not doing drugs or anything, but just, like, you know, I wasn't focused on one girl. I wasn't even focused on myself. And I sat down and he was like, James, like, what do you want? I was like, oh, I want this Christian girl with these values and these morals and these goals and stuff. And he was like, James, like, let's take a second. Do you think you're the man that God would place that woman into? Or, like, do you think you deserve that woman by your actions? And I was like, I didn't realize it at the time, you know, young and dumb, whatever. And I was like, that makes sense. And so went celibate, went sober, and then lo and behold, like, months later, meet the girlfriend. But, like, would I been in a position to meet that girlfriend if I didn't take the equal and opposite actions on the other side? Would I been able to be in a position to get Iman's job offer if I hadn't done the 4 or 5 months work beforehand to see myself, to have that perspective, to see that opportunity? It's like, you have to be equal and opposite in everything, yin and yang. What do you think about that?
I love it. Be better, attract better.
Yeah. I think people just expect, like, this goddess to walk into their life, or the perfect opportunity in business to walk into their life, and there's not the equal and opposite on the other side. They're not like, are you the man that needs to attract that? And it's like, no, more times than not. So yeah, that's just my final advice. Just stay away from them, like, them types of ladies, and just walk with honor, walk with integrity, make the right decision. Don't chase the money all the time, because there's enough time to make that. Just chase the knowledge and the skill set and the value.
I think your time will come. Long term.
The long vision, bro. Like, you've played a long game. Like, you're in a really good vehicle. You're in insurance.
Yeah.
That's a good vehicle to be in. Like, there's not.
I didn't start here.
What did you start in?
I started with magazines, newspapers. Went to, we call it Gavekort.
Okay.
Went to Alarm.
But I bet
mobile phones.
But I bet you were the best in each one of them.
Yeah. In the top.
You were. I guarantee it. And that's a great point. Is like, your first vehicle will never be the vehicle that ends up making you the most money, especially at, like, 20 years of age. People think the vehicle they're in right now is the be all and end all, and they get overwhelmed with it. But
with sales and telemarketing, when I started, it was like the Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
And back then it was very nice. It attracted us. We liked it. But then you see the backside of the metal, and then my eyes opened. I was like, I don't want this. I don't want to go this way, because I can see in the long term this doesn't end well. And I want it to end well. So you have to take some choices. I went to insurance, took some education, was like, this is better people. I want this for me. I want to talk about fitness, investing, traveling. I want to talk about nice things that gives value to myself and to the future.
Did you take a step back to take a step forward? As in, like, were you earning more money at the other thing and then pivoted downwards and then to go upwards?
Yeah, I was making a lot of money in Odense, which is a little town, but one of the biggest in Denmark. But it's a small town.
Yeah.
Small town mentality back then. And then I moved alone to Copenhagen. Was like, let me start from scratch. Let me take all my experience and let me start and build brick by brick. Who do I choose to be with? Who are my friends? What do I want to have as habits?
Yeah.
What's
the message there for you in that? Like, because
it's better to walk alone in the right direction than to walk with the crowd in the wrong. That's one I think about often. Like, it's okay to go alone. I don't have to go the places all the others. So I think it's important for men to have the power to say no.
Bro, do you know what the biggest thing about celibacy was for me? Is like, lust is the number one temptation. Like, if you've read the Bible, it's like every temptation they've said is like, pray to Jesus, you'll get through this thing, etc. You can with Jesus you can. It's like the one thing it says is, I forget what it's saying, but it says essentially just don't even battle with lust, run.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you can get to the situation and the point of a man to say no to your sexual interaction with a woman, with an attractive woman, like I've had that so many times where I'd be there and there'd be a woman there and she'd be like, let's go home, let's do this. I'd just be like, no, not interested. And
that's power. That's real power.
That's power. Because if you can say no to a woman, which is a man's, like, I'm not saying I'm gay or anything, like, I have a girlfriend, but I'm saying, like, if you can have the power to say no to, I guess, the short term, and you can say no, and you can, like, no to lust.
But in my world, that's a real man when his mind is stronger than his emotions, and especially his lust.
Yeah. And I guess the only thing I disagree with at Tate and Justin Waller and these guys in the beginning was they were like, it's the man's desire to want 4 or 5 women at once, and that's what a real man is able to do because he has these powers and the women respect him, so they allow him with other women. And I was like, okay. At the very beginning, I was actually agreeing with it. You'd be delusioned, you'd be walking with the crowd, and then you take a step back and you ask yourself, why do I believe this? And then what you just said just there is the truth. It's like, okay, that may be the worldly desire, but is that right? No. It's like a real man isn't someone who can get 4 or 5 women. The real man can get them, but it says no and chooses to stay loyal to one. Yes. That's what real manhood is. Yeah. That's the most difficult thing. You see all these people getting success at a young age, cheating on their other half, and like, that's not very integrous. That's not a real man. That doesn't make you more of a man because you can go and get a hotter chick after, at all. That's not people, because people view success as monetary.
And it's funny because that's the men I respect the most. That's the good husbands.
Who's your idols, like your business idols? Like, who do you look up to in business?
I like Patrick Bet-David.
Oh, yeah. I knew you'd say you like him.
Yeah, I really like Alex Hormozi, of course. He's like my number one.
Yeah.
And if we're talking about series, I'm like Harvey Specter.
Okay.
Yeah, I really like his figure.
But like, you remind me of Patrick a lot. You actually look like him, not like a little
He's
bit.
Persian also.
Yeah.
I think it's that.
He's from Iran. Yeah. And that's another thing is like, you need to choose your idols very carefully in this space. It's like, you can't just look at someone because you want what they have. Like, you should, who is around them. It's like Patrick has an amazing wife, 3 or 4 great kids, a phenomenal, sustainable business. He's living the life. But he's also an extremely down-to-earth man. Like, when he talks, I'm like, he can connect with him easy for some reason.
Yeah.
And I think choosing, like, mine is Dan Martell. Do you know who Dan Martell is?
Yeah.
Dan Martell, Patrick Bet-David, really good family men. Like, you listen to their message, because in the end of the day, it might take a bit longer, but I'd rather have, I know guys who are very successful at 30, 40 years of age, but they're single. But I'm like, okay, I'd rather take a slightly longer route to success, because people are always like, oh, if you have a woman, your success won't come as fast, etc., etc. It's like, okay, maybe it mightn't come as fast, but at least you get to enjoy it with somebody. So yeah, people, yeah.
Yeah, you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have anyone
to share it with,
it means nothing.
Yeah. I think people come to a point then when they get older where they just settle, which is sad,
What about now? Who inspire you? Who do you listen to?
A lot of Dan, a lot of Patrick. I'm trying to identify that, like, my mother always said this to me, like, take the gold and eat the dirt. of people. And it's like people end up accidentally idolizing one person fully. So you see with the Tate crowd, Tate's word is gospel. Like he can't say anything wrong. He's always right. Whatever he says, you do. And my mother's like, okay, she said, just take the gold, leave the dirt. So like, what's the good things about him? Okay, I'll apply that to myself. The good things about Dan, I'll apply that. The good things about Patrick, I'll apply that. It's not that I identify or I idolize this one person that I want to become. It's like, they're definitely role models, but you have to, like it definitely is like James of 5 or 10 years time is who I'd look up to, because I know like what he holds and what my long-term vision is. I think it's important to know your long-term vision and goals. And then it's like also, there's no other man that walked the planet that's perfect than Jesus as well. Like Jesus walked the planet and he was sinless. Like that's an achievement. Like you look up to him, like he knows something that we don't. How did he say sinless? So reading a lot about him recently, trying to get deeper into the Bible and understand like how he forgave people that hurt him, and kind of trying to gather that all around business, but like also relationship wise knowledge as well.
I really like this ending.
Yeah.
It was very, very nice with some wisdom.
Yeah.
James, this has been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you very, very much for joining the podcast today.
No problem.
I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Thank you too, bro. It's been a pleasure.